today's tips and tricks, if you could call it that. We're going to be transplanting our peppers, and we're going to just kind of show you a little tip. It is kind of common knowledge, I think, on how we transplant our plants out into the garden to get the best start they can get. We're going to go through kind of start to finish from what they should be moisture-wise to come out, and yeah, I'm not going to give it all away at the beginning of the video. So here's our holes for our first row. We are working hopefully in 10s. We have 60 Italian pepper plants to get planted in a very small space. So as you can see, we are crowding. That's how we operate here at Hickorycroft, making most of our space. We're going to have this row with another row staggered beside it, and then a bigger gap between those sections. We did this last year with them, kind of crowding. Worked really, really great. Lots of peppers. It was fantastic. So we're going to get our peppers out. As you can see, we've grabbed them and get going on this. So I've got our first plant to go here. I just wanted to kind of show you a few little things. We have had peppers forming already on these. As you can see, these are blossoms, which are probably pollinated from in the greenhouse. Now, because we are quite avid about our seed saving, we are going to pluck all these off. That also helps the plant to put the effort into growing its roots at that time, rather. Oh gosh, you're going to get my greasy forehead. It's so hot out. The peppers will love it though. So we're going to take the, I guess they're already fruit now, but we're going to take the blossoms and any fruit that's developed off of these plants so that we know anything that comes from this point on is eligible for seed saving. So you want to just grab it in your finger and pinch. There you go. That's all you're doing. So we don't water these probably a day, day and a half before we go to plant them out, because you want them to be slightly dried up. And the reason for that is it makes them a lot easier to get out of the pots. So when they're a little bit dry, you just put your hand over. I pinch the stem, flip it over, little tap, and out she comes. Now, if you were getting one from the store, odds are it's probably going to be root bound and you would have to ruck this up a little bit. But on ours, I'm going to try not to lose any.
They're not too bad.
It's not too bad at all. Great development though. So we're just going to clean that hole out. One thing that you can do with these every time you transplant them is plant a little more up the stem. So we've dug the hole a little bit deeper than we need. We're going to do something called puddling, which is just putting a bit of water in that hole right from the get-go. You want to kind of get the bottom quite saturated. The one thing I think with this we find is it encourages the roots to get going down rather than top watering, which kind of stunts them. So we'll just carefully set that. Okay, that's going to be a little deep. So just adjust. Forgot these were little pots. There we go. And now we've got that water moisture in the bottom. We're just going to kind of cover that to the top of that original dirt. There we go. Carefully, of course. And then we're going to water again. This time gently for a nice saturation. This just gives that plant a good kickstart, especially when we're in the middle of what's going to be a bad drought year. I think, isn't that what you said? They announced that today, that we were on our way to a drought.
They didn't call it a drought, but it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, so going to be a fun year, lots of watering.
The connotations of semantics.
Yeah. So basically I am burying it right up to those bottom leaves there. Nicely. And that is it. That is transplanting our pepper. And we're going to put cages on these after we get them all done. But we'll bring you back once we got some of the 60 planted. Well, we have one row in with our cages on. As you can see, not the 2-foot spacing that they recommend, but you're probably about 1.5 feet between each of these plants, and then we'd stagger in. There's another row going in. So we do find it works. If you're pressed for space, you definitely can crowd a little bit. We'll come back later and obviously show you how these turn out, but we still have a lot of work ahead of us. Hey, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is cranky. Yay! big job off the list. So we ended up not being able to plant the full 60. We ended up with 55. Not too bad. We're going to give a couple to a friend of ours, but I'll show you what we ended up doing. So here is our pepper patch, soon to be mixed with probably some mangles. We haven't fully decided on that, but we have 2 rows there, totaling 20. 2 rows here, totaling 20. And then we have 8 and 7 for a total of 55. We originally wanted to plant it all in this area, but concluded that we did not have enough space in the middle to do a double row, and it was better to spread them out and plant something different that could use that space to better efficiency. So that's one of the second tips, I suppose, to gardening, is you just need to roll with it and always go on to plan B. Not that you have to have a plan B, but anyway, time to do some chores and get done for the night.